So I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you all here today. We began doing this in 2009 when it was the 10th anniversary of the Research Centre, and the format for it worked, so we've kept on using this model. So what we do is to take a piece of research or something that museums we've been working on during the year, and we have a conversation about it. So we have a short introduction to it, but the main focus is about having a conversation, so discussion and questions. So it's a really important part of our work to be able to share that with such a diverse audience, and I'll say a little bit more about the audience in a moment. The focus of this year's session is around cultural value, and I was driving into work on Monday morning, I think it was, and it said that the next programme is going to be, and I just thought, oh, I wish I could just sit in the car and listen to that, because there were lots of issues that were to do with cultural value. This is a really important time for museums and galleries. They're under a huge amount of pressure to demonstrate their cultural and social value, to capture and to communicate that to people as well. We know lots of people visit museums and galleries, but how much do we actually understand about the impact that has on individuals in society? And how can we improve our understanding of that? We've got two guests this evening who are going to help us in this conversation. To my right is John Orna-Ornstein, who's Director of Museums for Arts Council England, and he plays a really critical role for the museum sector. He worked at the British Museum, and he was most recently head of national programmes, so he has a real diversity of experience of working with museums across England. Carol Scott is also here as well. Carol is a researcher and consultant. She's now based in the UK, but she's held a number of roles in Australia as well. She was Evaluation and Audience Research Manager at the Powerhouse Museum in Sydney. And Carol was on the advisory group for the Arts and Humanities Research Council project, which is called the Cultural Value Project. So she played a very key role in that, but she was also a key researcher on our piece of research which looked at the cultural value of engaging with museums and galleries. So I'm delighted to have both of our guests with us tonight. The format of this evening, as I said, it's very much about the conversation, but just to tell you a little bit about who's here, we've got a range of people who often don't come together in this way. So we've got people who are practitioners, particularly from the East Midlands, so people who are working in a real variety of institutions, and many of those, as we know in the East Midlands, are from small volunteer-run museums, as well as bigger museums and organisations as well. So we're absolutely delighted, and I know some of you have had quite long journeys trekking across the fens to get to Leicester, so thank you very much for that. We also have museum studies students here, so some of our master's students and PhD students as well, and they are literally from all over the world. So you will see people here from China and Taiwan and India and the United States, all over the place, as well as the UK. So we're really interesting to have both a local and a global group of people here. And we also have some academics and staff from the department and from other parts of the university as well. So I'm delighted that we've got such a diverse audience, because I think it'll bring a really interesting perspective to some of the issues we're going to talk about. I hope you've all had a chance to have a glass of wine or some juice. The idea of this evening is to relax after your day's work, but to be able to engage with, I think, what's going to be a really interesting discussion. But we're going to begin by Carol saying a little bit about the research she did on the cultural value of engaging with museums and galleries. Just before we go on to that, just to say we've got some photos have been taken, Bob's been taking some photos, and we will be doing some filming. If anybody doesn't want to be part of any of those elements, could they let me know? We just want to use these with our distance learning students and other material as well. We're going to open this session up for questions after Carol has spoken. She's just going to speak for about 15 minutes maximum. So please start to jot ideas down if you've got particular questions or ideas that you're interested in. I'm going to hand over now to Carol.